Wow, Gemini, what an energy that is I'm feeling for you guys. I've had a bit of like this stillness that I've been cultivating throughout the day, throughout the morning, and I really feel that for you guys. The sun is in your 12th house, so usually Geminis are kind of known for being like chatty and, you know, two of earth. Yeah, too much going on at once, feeling like maybe that's how you've been feeling. And on this new moon, you're going to set a new goal for yourself, or you're going to find a new connection in your area or through technology that is going to lead you into a deeper, maybe a vipassana for a transformation, making a new world. You see all of the elements are coming through, and it's like this immense transformation that is in color, form, dimension. How can you make that into something that is enjoyable? How can you get into the stillness with maybe a ritual or ceremony, giving yourself enough time to set a very clear goal and intention for your biggest wish to come true. Like, plant that seed. Can we see you guys plant that seed? On Monday, the moon will be in your 12th house. So you're going to be tapped in to a very deep place. And whatever questions you have about any upcoming projects, collaborations, maybe events that you're planning to go to, and like how you can really come into your local with a new sense of spiritual like finesse. How do you keep yourself feeling loving and bubbly? The best way I think is to actually go within. So let's look at the moon at this 0 degrees Taurus. It's actually going to be 30 degrees Aries with the inside degrees. So it's more about our beliefs and how we protect them. An anatomist delivers a lecture on the kidneys. So that seems to be like this intense energy because it's just left orb from Chiron. So it's like a very healed version of you, able to reach this new depth and stillness. Like on my most recent sound bath, I was wondering about this person's placements because at the start of it, it is hard to hear me, but I'm coming across as this, Queen of Fire. So it's like I'm very much in my stillness in my heart, and I wanted to know how our internal chatter gets so like engulfing. What does that look like for each individual sign? And if you are in a place where you have that inner chatter, find a yoga nidra. So this is splintered paddle. It's like you go into this vipassana to see how to have compassion for yourself, because with a splintered paddle, if you actually need a paddle, you're going to be in some deep water real quick. And I think that when we nurture ourselves with the moon in the 12th house, we need to acknowledge our need for the opposite of going, achieving, getting, mastering. The moments in between those do build up, and we are building up to a Sun conjunct Uranus event. And this is going to really shift things about how you receive your insights, because mutable energies help us to gain a new perspective. They often take like the role of maybe like the opposing voice. But let's tap. I affirm that I'm communicating with clarity, first and foremost from my intuition to my mind. My mind follows my intuition easily. Tap that with me. My mind seamlessly follows my intuition in situations where I need compassion for myself rather than overthinking or communicating with Mars in your 12th house, communicating from a place of repressed emotions. Tapping actually does help to alleviate repressed emotions, Gemini. So if you find yourself needing to tap on Monday, Moon Day, please do it. That felt amazing. All right, for Tuesday, Mars Day, Mars is in your 12th house. So it's going to be at 5 degrees Aries, which for you guys is going to imply that the way you get your message across, the way you get things done, is the statue of a god worn smooth by devotees kissing. So really do yourself a favor on Tuesday and take some time for scripture of some kind. It could be of any spiritual tradition. No judgment here, baby. We have the Page of Fire. See what you can pick up from what it is that you read. I love a Neville Goddard audiobook by Josiah Brandt. Find him. Give yourself a chance to expand your capacity for this vision state, which requires that quiet inner mind. Nalu. Emotions. Allow your emotions to come to the surface and really help you to process these feelings that might have been repressed. Have some modality, whether it's journaling, voice memos, voice notes to your friends, but get your voice heard. Like, let the reverberations of your thoughts permeate your vessel. Drink water. I'm going to drink some water too, just to make sure. Nice and hydrated. And with the north and south node at a net 5 on this day, in your 12th house and in your 5th house, there's a sense of pleasure and play that's in order. And it comes from this having compassion for yourself and extending a new modality for envisioning. Because I don't know about you guys, but whenever I'm thinking things, I'm picturing them too. And we want to protect what we're seeing. We want to protect all of that, because the more our thoughts are echoing in this vessel, the words we speak command it. So we have to be very mindful, very open to that inner stillness, baby. Okay, I love my Gemini. So on Wednesday, the 8th, the sun is at a net 9. And I would say this week is dealing with a lot of decisions in the outer world about how you vibe. Like, what do you attract? What is your inner dialogue like? How do you prepare yourself to get into the public? Do you listen to music while you're driving or commuting? Do you listen to mantras? Are you listening to audiobooks? What allows for you to engage your inner dialogue into the outer world? If you are in a place of like working on business or developing a project, whether it's intellectual property, you might find that a lot of answers come this week with you deciding to take time out each day to sit and quiet. Yeah, get away from the illusions. Clear your mind. Exercise, stillness in bed, just laying and breathing. Some really nice audiobooks that you could find. Self-help, I would do. And then again, Josiah Brandt. Laka, it looks like you're celebrating the growth of one of your projects. So I think that entertaining the worst case scenarios is not for this week. So don't do that on Mercury Day. When it comes time to communicate with whatever ventures you're adopting, whichever outlooks you're choosing to take, whatever comes to you, you need to be able to protect your thoughts against it going wrong again, because you guys have changed. Saturn is in your 10th house of career, so it's actually helping you to mature a lot. And as long as your thoughts don't get carried away on Mars Day, on Tuesday, you'll be really in good standing to start receiving some of the output that you've been putting out, because you've been doing a lot. And the moon going through your 12th house, it's going to be at 29 degrees on this day. So you're going to feel like maybe all the more of a need to really be defensive, but don't get defensive with the wrong situations. Like, if you can observe yourself throughout this week ahead, Gemini, you will come to see 10 of fire. Yeah. Observe yourself, because otherwise you're going to feel like overwhelmed, and you might start getting down on yourself and on your progress that you're making, which it's not going to pan out. That new moon needs to feel really sweet and simple, and the states that I can attain with Yoga Nidra, it's like a very nice rest nap. if I'm awake throughout the whole thing and physically conscious, it feels like a very powerful session. That usually comes after a lot of persistent work. Yeah, you're going to feel your spirit free. You won't feel like this. You won't feel overburdened and like you have to get away from everyone. You're going to feel untethered and safe whenever you get to be around people because of this nice container that you're forming around yourself and your vision. Go Gemini. So, Jupiter day. My Geminis. The moon will be in your first house, and it's going to allow for you to, I think, vocalize, be a voice of, be a face of whatever it is that you've been downloading at the start of the week, whatever spiritual insights you've been getting. Yeah, Mars at 7 degrees, Neptune at 29 degrees. It's going to feel like things just come out of nowhere to affirm that you are like absolutely in alignment, absolutely in service. Otherwise, you're going to see the cracks. You're going to see through a lot of cracks that are in your social spheres and in your projects that you really didn't like. They're going to come apart. And it's going to be something that you have to really command and decree, give that ceremony, connect with your ancestors, be with the earth, get to a body of water if possible, Gemini, and or take a bath or shower or something and be intentional with your water. Today I found myself actually activating this water with movement, and it felt really good. It felt like a very natural thing for me to do. And I would say because of this alignment that you're going to feel on Thursday, to really vocalize, let's look at where Mercury is. 23 degrees Aries. A bottled labeled drink me. Yeah, you guys are going to be like really expanding some things with some people who you are in admiration of, people who you've been wanting to connect to. I would say that a lot of the things that are cracking, they won't be really anything that can hold you back unless you allow that, unless you decide to self-sabotage, connect with energies that drain you before you have big things to do. Reorganize what you can, and what you can't control, just ask for help from your spiritual team because they are super nearby. With the sun in your 12th house, they're like calling the shots from behind the scenes. All you have to do is open up to affirming. Let's affirm. I will focus on the quantity, God. You focus on the quality. See what that does for you. Write it out. On Venus Day, Venus is in your 10th house, and this day would feel like a reconciliation of some kind, but again, be careful that you're not inviting in people who test your boundaries, or you're not inviting in, I would say, those experiences through being tested on your boundaries and not responding. So in some way you have to respond, just so that you give the universe some feedback and you say, hey, I don't want to feel like this, or you just clarify some things, because if you feel like you need to get ideas across, you're going to want to have that confidence that comes from really having sat with yourself at the start of the week or just every day throughout the week, 5 to 10 to 20 minutes. And basically, through doing this, you prepare yourself to expect the unexpected with what cracks. With the North and South Node are at that 13-degree mark. And then you're going to be able to decide with passion, with drive, and not like a fanatic breakdown. Yeah, you're going to show up to really battle. Speak up for yourself. Moon is still going to be in your first house. And I think that you'll find that you're much more supported than you had imagined, and that your willingness to be yourself and speak upon the Holy Ghost activations going through you is going to attract really sweet bonds with people, soulmates, love, you name it, Gemini. Saturn day. Saturn in your 10th house and Neptune at the final degree of the zodiac, with Mars happening in your 11th, it's going to see some bulldozing, some light bulldozing. The other 8s of the day are Jupiter. So we're kind of like being asked to go wide, to do the most things that we love, that are our favorite things to do. And I think we'll see the best ones showing which ones they are. Like, it'll be clear come Saturn day which ones you need to decide for. If it's up in the air of like, which direction do I take? You know, look at all your analytics. If people aren't interested in what you're doing, you have to find a new way to share that idea. You can't just keep going about it in a 2D way if it needs to be 3D, which means like if it's just a picture, maybe you need to change it into a 3D experiment of like, I started making skits, like something that interacts with more than just writing or photography, video, something that makes you use your hands, which activates different parts of your brain. Yeah, you want to use your hands. You want to reach out to people who are crafty. That's coming out very clearly for someone. All right, Sunday. Things will be looking up, Gemini. If you guys are at all like confused about anything spiritually, if you just ask for that clarity, and then with the Yoga Nidra, it actually does help with commanding and decreeing, which is crucial for what we create. Everything that people say, you can literally be like, and so it is, because we will get literally everything we want to manifest, we will manifest. But then it's like, what did we manifest it for? Was it for external approval and validation, or was it to heal the planet and be of service, you know? I see a 5 of water, which implies like really feeling like because so-and-so didn't do such and such, you didn't have success. Revisit those early childhood connections with forgiveness for yourself and for others. Do some inner child regressions. The sun on Sunday will be at 22 degrees Taurus, building to the sun conjunct Uranus expression. So Geminis, you guys are going to definitely have a sense of growing your beliefs about what's possible for you. You're going to have a sense of duty to deliver something beyond the physical with that 30,000 foot view. What are you delivering, Gemini? I'm sorry for my shaky computer. I have it set up kind of funny. I hope that you guys have an amazing week ahead. Please keep me posted in the comments for what's going on with you, how you choose stillness, what are your go-to tools that might help some other Gemini placements with what's happening this week. And let's pull one final card for the outcome. And maybe for the new moon that's happening, so you guys can set the right intentions for the Sun conjunct Uranus event. Generosity with yourself, asking for help. I think that asking for help or finding mentors, finding people to listen to with podcasts, to get the general idea of what it is that you can do to make forward movement without needing to spend a bunch of money or, you know, completely trash what you're doing and let go of projects that you're building. How can you just set those things aside and create space in yourself and then watch the world mirror that back to you? The space that you're taking for yourself, it might take a little bushwhacking to get there, but once you have the space, you can expand. Good luck, Gemini. Have an amazing week ahead. Aloha.